Hey guys, Kenny here, the Hobby Cop, and thanks for stopping by my channel. So on today's video, as obviously you can see by the title, it is 1991 Marvel Universe cards. A lot of you have found me through my 1990 Marvel top 5 underrated cards. What I have the top 5 do not buys, and also just there's another video of me and Tate opening up the pack. But today I want to look at the 1991 Marvel cards and my top 5. That's my top 5 cards that are selling right now. So ones that you'd get graded and possibly sell. So these Marvel cards, so obviously 1990 were like the first set that came out. In 1991 obviously is the second set. Very different art design. Like, let me see if I throw up two different cards here, ones that are kind of similar looking. So I have Spider-Man and a Venom. You can see the different design. Also, let me see if I can get another one. Here's a She-Hulk. Oh, I shouldn't put the green one up because I have a green screen behind. But anyway, I find the artwork very different. I find the 1991 a little more gritty. The 1990 a little more polished. 1990s definitely are selling more. They were the first set. But personally, I like a lot of the artwork better than the 1991s. But they're just not selling the greatest right now. So in this video, I'll also give you two bonus ones. So we'll hit on those right now. And I'm going to pull up the PSA counts for these. They're all very low, and I guess the reason is, I'm sure somebody will put it in the comments, is because they're worth nothing. But you can see now on eBay that these are starting to go up in price, and maybe once the 1990s are exhausted. Sorry, I was pulling that up. Once the 1990s are exhausted, these will go up a little bit more. So my bonus ones will be the number 1 card in the set, which is, as in like number 1 serial number, the Spider-Man card. So this is a PSA 10 pop of 1. So there's only one of these out there, and this is selling for a little over $100 in a PSA, like 9. I haven't seen the 10 for sale out there, but that's a good card, obviously. In this card, this is the Loki card here. I'm just scrolling down one second. So the reason I picked the Loki card, and I picked that in my 1990 video for underrated cards, is that this year there's a series coming out on Disney, a Loki series. So Marvel's putting that out. Marvel's owned by Disney now. So I think this card could go well. And interesting, there's only 2 of these actually graded in the world right now. What are they? 2 of them are PSA 10s. So there's only 2 graded. So those are my 2 little bonus cards here right now. Is the Spider-Man number 1 in the series and the Loki, both super low pops, and Loki coming out with a TV show. So let's get into our top 5. So for my number 5 card, I have She-Hulk. So I showed you that one there before. Really nice card. It seems to sell well in both sets. Looks like she's selling for, the last sale of She-Hulk was in a PSA 10 was $160. So not bad. So the big thing with these cards, where they're not selling for big prices right now, is just to do like the bulk submission or the longer submission, and still hope that in whatever 6 to 8 months they're still selling good. I think there will always be a market for PSA 10s for these type of things. Remember, these are 30 years old. Yes, there's tons of them out there, but the key is finding the 10s mint condition. A lot of the problem with these cards are the centering. Even like this She-Hulk, it's pretty good, but if you look off to this side, you can see it's a little off-centered. Corners are great, edges are great, but may not get that perfect 10. So my 4th card right now is the Iron Man. So this is number 13 in the set. I think it's a nice looking card. And it seems on eBay this was selling for, throw it up here, I think it was like around $200. So not bad. And this one has, I think, a low population as well. They all pretty much do. So this one's one of the higher ones with only 7 PSA 10s. And again, this one slightly off-centered to this side. But Iron Man, you can never go wrong with when you're looking at these type of sets, your Spider-Mans, your Iron Man, your Hulk, your Thors, the bad guys like Venom. And just to break down this set, I should have said that before. These cards are broken down into different categories. So you can see up in the top corner here, it says superhero. The last one I showed you that as well. Then there's also, pull up here, super villains. So you can see up in the top here, the super villain. And then they also have the kind of like the versus ones, like the battles. So here's Daredevil versus Punisher, and then you would have their weapons as well. So I don't have it right here. So here's a weapon. Dr. Octopus's arms is a weapon. Probably not a good card to put up with the green screen. And then you also have team photos here. So you have definitely with the 1991. With the 1990 right now, if it's a PSA 10, you can pretty much just throw anything on eBay and it's selling. These 1991s, you have to be a little more selective in what you sell. So here is my next pick, is the Supervillain. This is probably one of my better looking cards in Venom. He's number 58 in the set. I think he's quite centered. If anything, top to bottom might be a little off, but I think this is a really good card. If I do get them graded, this is going for in the 200s, and there's only 11 of them graded, but 8 of them are PSA 10s. Still a crazy low number if there's a demand for these, but at $200 and some in a PSA 10, I'll definitely take that. So that was my number 3 card. My number 2 card is, like what I spoke before, is one of the weapons, and that is the Infinity Gauntlet, obviously held by Thanos there. This is card 134 in the set. So you have 6 population 10s of these. And when I say but not for a 10, but a couple $100 on a $50 investment maybe, yeah, that is pretty good. But compared to the 1990s where some of them are selling in the thousands right now, there's a huge difference in that. But this gauntlet was listed for and sold for 4 something, so $400 some, PSA 10. My one is pretty centered. You can see there, top, bottom, left, right, all looks pretty good, so I'm happy with that card there. It's a pretty cool looking card too. There's also another Thanos card. Actually, I think there's 2 Thanos cards. Another supervillain one, and then another one, him fighting the Silver Surfer, I think, which sells actually pretty good as well. So then my number 1 top-rated card for the 1991 Marvel Universe set would be another weapons card, but it'd be Spider-Man and his web shooter. This is card 131. There's only 7 graded in the world, and 5 of them being PSA 10s. My one here, I don't think I'll get it sent off. Everything's good except for the centering. So once you lose that 10, it's not really worth it. But you can see it's off-centered quite a bit to this side. You can see on the back there, kind of explains his Spider-Man web shooters. But this one broke the $400 threshold, and it's the top seller and just sold on February 3rd for $500. So $500 in a PSA 10 for possibly a $50 investment, not too bad. But as you go through the pack, and you can see I have them all here, it's very rare to find one that's nicely centered. Like there's Marvel Girl, off-centered. Phoenix, off-centered. Submariner, actually, that one's centered. Kind of a weird looking card. Him riding buddy on the back there. Mr. Fantastic, off-centered. Iceman, off-centered. Shadowcat, she's actually not too badly centered. Human Torch, nicely centered. Off-centered. Captain Britain, off-centered. Deathlock, off-centered. Vision, off-centered, and so on. So the centering is definitely, with the 1990 and 1991, is an issue. But yeah, if you can find these top 5 cards that I mentioned with my 2 bonus, I'll hold them up here and go through them again. And you think they're a PSA 10. So if you're new to the whole PSA game, you're looking for sharp corners. So obviously 4 corners. You're looking for the edges of the card to be crisp and not dinged or pushed in. You're looking for the surfaces of the card, so the front and back, not to be scratched. I think PSA is a little lenient on the back, but the front, not scratched. No ketchup stains or fingerprints or something like that. You have to clean them. and then also the centering. So like I said, I'll pull up two separate kind of. So here's my Spider-Man and the Venom here. So if you look at the Spider-Man, you can see how he's off-center to this side quite a bit, whereas my Venom is quite a bit better, but maybe a tad off-center to the same side as well. So PSA, you can send it directly to their site. It's usually recommended that you go through a group submitter, so you can just Google PSA group submitters. You tend to get a little better rate and a faster turnaround time. Let's see if I can get these back in order. I think I may have messed it up. But my two bonus, Loki and Spider-Man, low pops. Loki new show coming out. Spider-Man is just always a classic, and there's pretty much nothing graded in that one. Maybe it's hard. Like mine's very off-centered, so maybe that card just comes off-centered. Then my top 5 right here. We have number 5 was She-Hulk. 4 was Iron Man. 3 was the Venom. Number 2 was the Infinity Gauntlet. And number 5 was Spider-Man's Web Shooters. So I hope you enjoyed that. Keep your eyes on these prices. You never know, these could spike once there's a run on the 1990s and people see how cheap the 91s are. And I think, like I said, their artwork is just as good. There may be a big run on these. So I'm going to send some off on kind of like the long, see in another year type service, just to be graded. And if they don't sell on eBay, well, I think they're pretty cool and will end up in my personal collection. So like, subscribe. I have obviously some Marvel stuff that's hot right now. Sports cards is what I love. I'm looking in some G.I. Joe cards from back in the 80s. But anything card related or collectibles and stuff, you'll find some videos here. And we'll see you again.